Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming Crooked Path Theater production of What the Constitution Means to Me. So first off, before we dive into that, say hi to Robin Calhoun. Robin, nice to see you. Robin is an actor in the show. Jody Hovland is the director.
No. Yes, I am.
Yes. And Patrick Delaney, one of the principals of Crooked Path.
I'm just along for the ride today.
Just hanging out. Jody, pull that microphone just a little more towards you, if you would. Okay. So let's. So to start with, What the Constitution Means to Me. A little bit of a dry title, but then when I saw and those who are looking at the video can see we have a little printout from your poster, and it features Robin and James Madison in a boxing match.
So there's no actual physical violence in the show, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Jody, give me the short description of what this was about, now that we've kind of got these two conflicting images in our heads.
Well, the play is by Heidi Schreck, and she is the one who performed it originally, and it's an autobiographical play that begins as sort of a teenage memoir as she's recounting her experiences with the American Legion Oratorical contest when she was in high school, and during which she was very successful and earned money to pay for her college career. Then the lens shifts a little bit, and in her discussions about how much she loved the Constitution when she was a teenager, as she becomes an adult, the Constitution becomes a more provocative topic for her as she relates how the generations of women in her family have been impacted by the Constitution, its rights, and its lack of same for some people. And what follows is an always entertaining, sometimes downright fall off your chair funny, but also provocative discussion about constitutional issues. The play winds up with an actual debate between Robin and not James Madison, but Nora Cowper, who is a high school debater. And that is lots of fireworks between those two.
Okay, and so what in the play? How do we get there from the meditating on the history of the Constitution to a debate with a high school debater? Or is that telling?
No.
I mean, that's the arc is from when Heidi was in high school, and then she sort of has this arc where she discovers maybe I don't love it as much as I thought I did. Maybe it doesn't serve the people that I think it should be serving. And then as sort of a flashback, we decide to put her up against a kid who's living it right now, and Nora is a debater at City High, and we just sort of and we flip sides. So we flip a coin to see who's going to argue abolish and who's going to argue keep. Yeah. And so we can do both sides, which Nora assures us is how debate really works. You don't get to choose what you really believe. You have to fight for whatever they tell you. And so she and I get to go on opposite sides whenever according to the coin flip. And
so it will change.
It'll change
from performance to performance.
It will.
Yeah. Well, unless it just keeps flipping the same way. Yeah.
Well, and it's sort of, I think, a natural outcome of all the discussion about the Constitution and who it serves or doesn't serve, because the question then becomes, well, should we abolish the Constitution as it now exists and work to establish a more positive rights constitution, which many, many countries have done? Or should we keep it and work on it amendment by amendment and engage in the process of change? So it's a pretty it's an important discussion, and the audience gets to get involved. Someone from the audience every night gets to vote on who won the argument.
That's right.
but only one person gets to vote.
Yeah.
So kind of like the way the Constitution organized the country in the beginning.
Exactly, which is one of the lines in the show.
Patrick, where did you first find this show?
Chris Okishi, the co-artistic director, along with the two of us are the co-artistic directors of Crooked Path. We saw this, the original production in 2017. We knew then that we were going to bring it to Iowa City the first chance we got. Mm-hmm. and literally every month would check to see if the rights were available and see if the rights were available and see what the rights were available. And then in this incredibly important election year, it seemed like a no-brainer to do this play in this moment. The play was chosen specifically for Robin. We probed and prayed that Jody would be available, and she was. We are unbelievably happy with the cast that we have and the production team that we have. Lucy Green and Kristen Olinger, all designers and artists at the top of their game, all of whom are working on the show. Matthew James is in the show.
Playing the Legionnaire.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't get better
Perfect
than
as
this.
always.
Yes. Yeah. So we couldn't be more pleased and proud, and we're so happy.
My first public speaking experience in my life was as a 5th grader in the Optimist Oratorical
Really?
contest.
Oh, you're a veteran.
Yeah, so this kind of hits me right where I live.
You've got to come. Also, talk to Jody about that because she did it too in high school and won a bunch of money.
I did participate in this contest. And, this contest has been going on since the 30s. I was involved in it in the late 60s. And it's been such a throwback to see reenacted on a nightly basis the elements of this contest that I still remember, the prepared speech and then the extemporaneous speech. And it's terrifying.
It is. It is the most terrifying experience you can imagine. Way more terrifying than acting or appearing in your underwear in front of a group of people, which I think everybody here has probably done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Curiously.
actually.
Robin,
No one asked me to. I just did.
Robin, we dove right into this so fast I didn't get a chance to, since you're a first-time guest on the show, tell me a little bit about your background and what brought you here. And
Well, so I am from Southern California, but my husband was military, so we lived all over the world. And then when he retired, we decided to settle in Iowa. And when we got here, we saw a play, and he said, I just realized you could maybe do theater again. And I was like, yeah, maybe I could. And then I auditioned for Hairspray at City Circle, which was the inaugural show at the CCPA, and met all my new friends, Chris Okishi and Carrie Houchenswit and everybody. And then I've been doing plays ever since. I don't know why I've never been up here before. I feel like
I'm sure this won't be the last
I
time.
hope not. But anyway, so Chris and Patrick, as soon as I saw this show on Broadway, and then I said to Chris and Patrick, I want to do this show so bad. And they said, yeah, we know. We've been working on getting the rights. And then when we got Jody, it was like everything just came perfectly together. But so I've worked at City Circle a lot. I've worked at Riverside a couple of times. I've worked in every Crooked Path show so far.
She said hysterically.
It just seems funny.
Yeah.
And I have 2 daughters who are both theater artists. So
Some families bowl.
right, exactly. It runs in the family. My husband rolls his eyes and is like, "How did this happen?" It is what it is. So I work for a tax preparer in the daytime, and then I do theater at night.
Oh, wow. And so you're kind of doing this, you're taking this on at the busy part of the year, too.
I mean, luckily we should finish this 3-weekend run right when work gets crazy, but I've been doing a lot of prep, so it's not too crazy when I get back.
So obviously you have some experience with the show because you saw it before you even did it, and now, of course, you're hip deep in it.
Yep.
Has it changed what you think about the Constitution at all?
You know, it's so funny because every night after the show, I say to Nora, who's my teenage debater, I mean, maybe abolish has a point. She's always like, yeah, it does, and you should listen to it. And then the next night, I'm like, I don't know, though. I think it's too risky. We got to just fix what we have. And she's like, well, you crazy old lady. But yeah, it changes.
She's a very sassy debater.
Oh, she is so
It's
fantastic.
wonderful.
I go back and forth all the time. I mean, do I think the Constitution was written to protect rich white men? 100%. But I also still think we can make it work. I hope.
Jury's still out.
I know. Vote, everybody. Vote, 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 vote.
Yeah.
Patrick, you've got, we were joking right before we turned on the microphones about Crooked Path being an itinerant theater.
Yes.
And this is
what a nice way to say it.
Yes, this is a perfect example of this as you're doing the show in 2 different locations.
Yes, we're officially a touring company now. So we will perform this weekend and next weekend at the James Theater in Iowa City, and then we're going to take this production up for a weekend at Mirrorbox Theater, thanks to Caven Hallman. And so we're very excited that we get to. There is nothing like a longer run of a show to really sort of let it marinate.
Yeah,
and
settle in.
Yeah,
Well, except breaking down the set and reestablishing the set.
Well, that's
well, you
Let's
know,
not think about that.
odds and ends. But no, we're very excited about it.
The show is What the Constitution Means to Me, 2 weekends at the James Theater and 1 weekend at the Mirrorbox in Cedar Rapids. For tickets, the venues, right? So
Yes,
the
yes.
James,
So,
the JamesIC.com for the James shows and
Mirrorboxtheater.com.
MirrorboxTheater.com for Cedar Rapids. But people can also visit their Crooked Path website for
Absolutely.
information as well, which is?
CrookedPathTheater.com, the cleverly named CrookedPathTheater.com.
Well, it just sounds like a dry title, but sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully, the title will be proven wrong.
And even if you decide last minute, walk in. We'll find a seat for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I've really enjoyed hearing about it and looking forward to it. And thanks you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
having
much
us.
for having us.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30 or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or using your favorite podcast app. Our video producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.